Hello there, Adam. I've noticed that both Jesus Freak 777's videos and those of the Amazing Atheist have seen a distinct change in tone over the past few months. Both of them appear to be making a lot less sense than they did in earlier posts, and there's something almost artificially eccentric about the YouTube persona that's being broadcast. I'm just beginning to wonder if maybe they've jumped the shark, so to speak. Anyway, on to my response to your video. I'm going to propose that there's a distinct and important difference between the purpose of life and the meaning of life, because I don't see them as being the same thing at all. I'd say that the purpose of a theist life is exactly the same purpose as an atheist life. It's the same purpose for any life, really, whether that's a human being or a run-a-bean plan. The purpose of life is simply to ensure that your genetic information is passed on to the next generation. And whether that means producing offspring of your own or just ensuring that sufficient offspring of closely related individuals survive long enough to be able to reproduce in turn, that's it. There is no other purpose to life. But I would say that the meaning of those lives is something that is altogether very different. Only organisms with a certain level of intelligence and self-awareness can place meaning on anything. Human beings have the required level of intelligence and self-awareness to be able to do this. And more than that, our brains appear to be hardwired in a way that it drives us to find predictability in our world. And a byproduct of this need for seeing cause and effect is this concept of meaning. I think the fundamental flaws in the theist view that if you're an atheist, then to you life has no meaning, are firstly that there is any kind of objective meaning to life to begin with, because I don't believe that there is. I can't see how the meaning of life can be anything but subjective. And secondly, that there can only be one meaning, the one size fits all, that there's only one answer. Your video, Purpose in an Atheist Life, struck a chord with me because I recently attended the funeral of a very close family friend. This is somebody who played a big part in my life. She's a person that I love dearly, and she loved me very dearly in return. And at the funeral, the vicar who conducted the service mentioned that for those people who don't believe in an afterlife, then life is pointless. And I thought this is a typically narrow-minded view, because in fact I see it completely the opposite way around. I can't see how anybody who believes in the theist afterlife can hold the view that this earthly life has any value or meaning at all. If you believe in eternity in heaven, then this earthly life, even if you live to be 100 million years old, or you live 100 million times that, it's proportionately infinitely less time than you've already spent in the womb before this life. And the separation from God in this life, compared with eternity in heaven's glory, means that this life offers less experience of reality than the time in the womb, in the grand scheme of things. So it's strange and inconsistent that theists can say, that if you're an atheist, then life has no meaning, when it would seem that theirs has even less. And I take the opposing view, as it would appear you do. The people who don't feel that their purpose is defined externally, or that it's imposed on them, are given the freedom and the opportunity to find their own meaning. And having meaning and goals imposed on your life very rarely works out well. You only have to look at those kids whose parents try to live out their own dreams of sporting or musical or showbiz greatness through their children to see that it often doesn't work out very well at all. The children are rarely happy, and most of the time they just seem to be set up to fail, to be unable to meet the expectations that have been placed upon them. And to me, the parallels between that and religion are, well, pretty self-evident. I really do think that finding your own way is more rewarding, both in terms of the health of your view of the world, but also in sense of satisfaction. To me, as an atheist, my life has as much or as little meaning as I want to give it. And I have this sort of mental image of the theist view of life as being like having to wear clothes that I don't like and having to queue in the pouring rain to get into some exclusive and elitist club. And it's not for me, because I don't want to live my life doing something that I don't enjoy, and I don't want to see this life as being something that simply has to be endured just so that I can qualify to get into a place where I probably wouldn't like the company anyway.